Thousands of years before cities, before farming, and long before written history, something impossible began to happen beside ancient campfires. Humans, the most adaptable species on Earth, started allowing another predator to come closer. Not a sheep, not a harmless animal, a wolf. At first, it should never have worked. One species hunted with stone tools, the other hunted with teeth. Yet somewhere in deep history, fear slowly turned into tolerance. Tolerance became familiarity. And eventually, one of the greatest relationships in human history began completely by accident. Today, dogs feel natural in human life. They sleep in homes, protect families, and follow people everywhere. But ancient humans never decided to invent dogs. There was no plan and no experiment. The real mystery is how a dangerous wild animal slowly became humanity's closest companion. Historians and archaeologists believe the answer may have started with survival. In ancient landscapes, every creature searched for food. Humans left scraps behind. Wolves noticed. To understand this story, we must return to the Ice Age world. Ancient humans lived in small groups and moved across difficult environments. Survival depended on cooperation. Camps were temporary. Food was uncertain. Fire created warmth and safety. Every resource mattered. Nearby, wolves lived under similar conditions. They hunted in groups, adapted quickly, and survived through teamwork. Humans and wolves were more alike than they realized. Archaeological discoveries suggest humans and wolves shared environments for thousands of years. Ancient camps reveal animal remains and signs of repeated contact. But something unusual happened over time. Certain wolves began approaching humans more often. These animals were not stronger than others. They were calmer, less aggressive, more willing to stay close. That small difference may have changed history forever. Daily life in ancient camps created opportunities for connection. Humans prepared food, repaired tools, watched fires, and protected children. Leftover bones and food attracted nearby animals. Most wolves stayed away, but a few waited. They learned humans created predictable sources of survival. Ancient people noticed too. A quiet exchange slowly formed. Humans gave nothing intentionally. Wolves simply adapted. At first, nobody planned to create dogs. Ancient humans were simply trying to survive. Food was limited and danger existed everywhere. Near campsites, wild wolves sometimes appeared, not to attack, but to search for scraps left behind. Most wolves stayed away from humans, but a few were different. They were less fearful, more curious, and willing to stay nearby. Humans noticed this behavior too. Instead of chasing every animal away, some groups tolerated their presence. Without realizing it, both species had started changing each other. The environment rewarded cooperation. Wolves that stayed close to humans gained easier access to food. Humans gained something unexpected in return. Wolves reacted faster to movement, noticed danger earlier, and followed animal tracks more efficiently. Neither side understood evolution or domestication. Yet tiny advantages repeated over generations. What began as coincidence slowly became a relationship. Survival favored animals that feared humans less, and humans who accepted useful animals nearby. Archaeologists believe this process happened gradually across thousands of years. There was no single moment when a wolf became a dog. Ancient camps, buried remains, and animal bones suggest long periods of coexistence. Younger wolves likely grew up closer to humans and became increasingly comfortable around them. Generation after generation, behavior changed before appearance changed. Friendship may have started long before people even understood what they were creating. As this relationship developed, daily life slowly transformed. Wolves began helping track animals and protect camps. Humans shared food and allowed closer access to shelter. The boundary between wild and familiar became weaker. These early animals were not modern dogs. They were still wild in many ways, but for the first time in history, another species had started living inside the human world. Knowledge spread without writing. Tribes observed which group survived more successfully and copied useful behavior. If living near calmer wolves increased survival, the idea naturally expanded. Across distant landscapes, humans repeated similar choices independently. No one announced the invention of dogs. It happened silently through everyday decisions. One generation accepted a curious wolf. The next generation accepted something entirely new. Over time, this partnership became more than survival. Wolves that remained close to humans started becoming part of daily life. Their behavior slowly changed. They barked more, reacted differently, and became easier to live beside. Ancient humans may not have understood genetics, but they understood results. The calmer animals stayed, the aggressive ones disappeared. Without plans or breeding programs, humans were quietly selecting the first dogs. As generations passed, dogs became something unusual in the ancient world. They were neither fully wild nor fully human. They crossed boundaries that no other animal had crossed before. Dogs followed humans during migration, rested near shelters, and became witnesses to early civilization. Their existence represented one of history's earliest examples of co-evolution, two species changing together. Different tribes likely discovered this relationship independently. Across continents and thousands of years, humans repeatedly accepted calmer wolves into camp life. Over time, different environments created different dog types. Some became hunters, others became protectors. Ancient people did not create dogs in one place. They helped shape them across history. Human behavior played a powerful role in this transformation. Ancient people naturally protected useful animals. They fed younger animals and kept familiar ones nearby. This emotional connection may have accelerated domestication. For the first time, humans were not just changing nature through tools, they were changing another living species through trust. Today we often imagine domestication as a planned event, but history suggests something more surprising. Humans did not wake up and decide to invent dogs. Instead, small choices repeated across thousands of years created one of the strongest bonds in history. A leftover bone, a curious wolf, a campfire. Sometimes civilization changes without anyone realizing it. As human groups spread into different environments, dogs changed with them. Cold regions favored animals with endurance. Forest regions favored alert companions. Open landscapes rewarded speed and tracking ability. Ancient humans never wrote instructions for creating dogs, yet generation after generation, the relationship adapted naturally. Geography quietly shaped the earliest companions. Ancient tools improved this partnership further. Humans created better hunting strategies, while dogs increased awareness and tracking. Camps became safer. Food became more reliable. Dogs were not tools, but they transformed how humans used tools. Together, they became more effective than either species alone. Over time, dogs became more than practical helpers. Ancient burials discovered across different regions suggest some dogs were treated with unusual care. In certain places, they were buried beside humans. This reveals something deeper than survival. The connection had become emotional. Ancient people may have viewed dogs as companions long before recorded history. Archaeology continues uncovering evidence that this relationship developed slowly across thousands of years. Bones, campsites, and ancient settlements suggest dogs followed humanity through enormous changes. From moving tribes to growing communities, dogs remained beside humans. History remembers kings and empires, but one of humanity's greatest partnerships began silently. So, how did humans accidentally create dogs? Not through invention, not through control, and not through a single discovery. It happened through countless ordinary moments, repeated across generations. A campfire left burning, food left behind, fear becoming tolerance, tolerance becoming trust, and trust becoming companionship. Ancient humans never set out to create dogs, but by changing their world, they changed another species forever. And in return, that species stayed for thousands of years. Still waiting beside our fires, still walking beside us, still reminding us that some of history's greatest discoveries happened by accident.